please welcome Michael Gerard.
This will be a disappointment for you all. Thank you so much. I've never been introduced so comprehensively in my life.
And that was an extraction for me.
I wrote that myself. It is really, thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. It's really lovely to be here. Wonderful to be able to join together with so many friends, supporters, readers, story lovers to celebrate such an important and a happy occasion. And any book launch is just that. It's the culmination of so much effort and desire and hope to finally come to a stage where you've got a book that you can send out into the world. It is a brilliantly happy occasion. I'm very pleased to have been given the honour to officially launch Little Shark Lulu is Sleeping into the reading world. Right at the start, I'd like to congratulate the three creators, Charlotte, Josie and Carla, on the beautiful story and the beautiful end product their combined efforts and talents have produced. I'm particularly happy to be able to be here today to support my fellow author, good friend, and amazing, all-round amazing person, Josie Montano.
Oh, I was talking about you.
I feel I've known Josie forever, but we met so many years back. I can't even remember how we met, but we became friends through our love and involvement of writing, and particularly involved in children's books. Josie and I share many things in common, including a strange love for reality TV.
You're just stealing my thank you speech.
Shows like Survivor and The Amazing Race. We've even amused in the past of trying to combine together and go on some of those shows. Unfortunately, that never came about, mainly because even though Josie is the sort of crazy and dynamic person who does such things, I'm the sort of person who's happy just to talk about doing such things. And besides, I've been on car trips and at festivals with Josie. And if we actually ever were on something like The Amazing Race together, well, I'm sure we'd have a lot of laughs and a lot of wild conversations. I'm pretty certain that the most amazing thing would be if we ever actually arrived at the place we were supposed to be racing to. Also have the feeling that Josie's personality might be just a bit too big for the small screen. But for me, it's that big personality and sense of fun that shines through Little Shark Lulu is Sleeping. Sharks don't always get good press, but hopefully a little Lulu will help turn that around. In Little Shark Lulu is Sleeping, we have a fun, rhyming bedtime story that tells of an adorable little shark's attempt to find sleep amid the distractions of an enchanting and wondrous deep sea world, and the strange and intriguing creatures that live there. And what an array of unique creatures it is that Lulu encounters, including clams, octopuses, plankton, whales, squid, parrotfish, sea snakes, jellyfish, stingrays, dolphins, and turtles. What makes Lulu unique, I think, in itself, is that it presents to the reader such a charming, entertaining and surprising mix of the real along with the imaginary, the scientific side by side with the factual, and the comical and the whimsical and the absurd all rolled into one. So while we discover the reality of things like squid squirting their ink for protection, and stingrays burying themselves in the sand, and hatchet fish chasing plankton, we're also entertained and amused by tap dancing jellyfish, nautilus fitted with jet propulsion packs, mantis shrimps playing dress up, and crabs in tuxedos. And it might be a big assumption on my part, but I'll go out on a limb and say that I think maybe Charlotte, with her background and expertise in sharks and marine biology, might be responsible for the more factually fascinating features of Lulu's story, while Josie, on the other hand, just might have contributed more to the fanciful and the weirdly wacky aspects, along with the creative and playful language which the book uses. Combined together, however, this results in a book that informs, entertains, and delights, while at the same time building an appreciation, fascination, and love for the natural world and the amazing creatures that inhabit it. And all of this is beautifully brought to life by Carla's bright, joyful and intricate illustrations. Every page really is a feast for the eyes, filled with life, energy and humour, which draws the reader into a truly magical underwater world. And like the very best picture book illustrations, there's always more to discover and more to delight with each new reading. There really are so many lovely pictures. My personal favourite has to be the family of vertically sleeping sperm whales, all dressed in their pyjamas. Absolute favourite. And I note that in another of Carla's illustrations there's an adult dolphin that can be seen reading a bedtime story to the young dolphins.
Bestseller.
And the book being read has got a bestseller sticker on it, I noticed that too. And if you look really closely at the title of the book, you just might be able to see the word Lulu on it.
It's prediction.
Might be just me. Hopefully that's a very good omen for the future. I can certainly easily see little Shark Lulu becoming a family bedtime favourite. So popular in fact that in order to accommodate all the keen readers that some people might find themselves saying, we're going to need a bigger bed. So now, before I get out of your way so you can hear from the real stars of today's launch, please join me as I congratulate Josie, Dr. Charlotte and Carla and officially launch Little Shark Lulu Sleeping into the wonderful world of stories. May Lulu and her underwater friends find a special place deep within the minds and the hearts of readers everywhere.
All right, so I'm going to need your help with this one because at the end of each double spread it says shh, because we're trying to tell all the marine life to be quiet so Lulu can sleep. So I'm going to need all your help to say shh. Do you think you can do it?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a practice. 1, 2, 3. Shh. Okay.
That
All right.
was well done.
Let's go.
You good shushes.
It's getting dark in the ocean deep and little Shark Lulu is nearly sound asleep. But some sea creatures are still out creeping. When baby clams emerge from their shells peeping, Lulu the little shark is no longer sleeping. Here she is trying to fall asleep. Her mum and dad have put her to bed, but there's too much going on. Octopus offspring like to hunt and dart, catching their own lunch because they're very smart. Shh. Good job, Crowley. And there's the octopus there with the crab, and they're about to have dinner.
Together.
Pint-sized plankton are bobbing all about as the ocean tides swish and churn them out. There's the plankton there, they're all going to school. Hat-sized hatchetfish are chasing plankton. Their nightly adventure has only begun. Mini mantis shrimp cleans out his nest to get dressed in his colourful clowning best. Are you shushing? Oh, they're all turning the flames.
They are, they're very well.
Good job. Nautilus there before me. Nautilus hatchlings silently paddle, scattering prey as they swirl and skedaddle. A motionless suite of snoozing sperm whales are sleeping heads up on their fluked tails. Small squid is scared as she swims on her own. To be safe, she squirts ink into the unknown. Michael. Petite parrotfish nap in their cocoons with beaks exposed. They will wake up soon. Small sea snakes snort at the ocean's surface. Coiled upside down, striking is their purpose. Junior jellyfish floats by glowing to perform a tappity tiptoeing. You still can't get to sleep. I wonder why. There she is, wide awake in the audience. Sleepy stingrays snuggle into the sand, camouflaged before they enter dreamland. A dainty dolphin pod search for supper. When tired, they snooze on the ocean's upper. This is reading the bestseller Lulu.
The bestseller Lulu.
Tiny turtle hatchlings tuck into their shells as they wait for deep sleep to cast its spell. At last, it's quiet in the ocean deep. Good night, sleep tight, nobody make a peep. Little Shark Lulu is finally asleep.
Well, let's thank our Okay, well, IP is not just a one-book publisher. We have a spring list of titles this year, and we have a second children's book among that list, and it's called Storytellers. Now, unfortunately, our author and illustrator, also from Sydney, couldn't be with us today. But some of you may have heard of Robert Vescio. He's a multi-award-winning author. His books have been translated as well. What I'm going to do first is show you a bit of a trailer that we did for the book. So take it away. Okay. Okay, page one. A good story can send you soaring through a magical sky. There's no telling where it may lead you. From the time he was little, Henry loved words. He loved their warmth and giggled when they tickled him. Henry chased them. He collected them. He crafted them. Next page. As he clambered up and into the dragon's lair, Eric started to shake. He was getting closer to the dragon. This is him writing a story. He spun his words with striking imagery into a story, and he dared to share his dream with another. In the shade of the tree, Alexia loved books. She saw more than words on a page. Alexia loved the pictures. She loved the texture. She loved the way they made her feel. Her love of books built a mighty publishing empire, and it included a whimsical story by a collector of words. In a small, remote village, Imani loved to draw and color. She gave a heart to her mother. She gave a jeep to her father. She gave a giraffe to her brother. Imani trained her pictures to sing and dance. She was invited to exhibit her art in galleries and traveling exhibitions. And she caught the eye of a publisher, stirred by a story deserving attention. While her father was busy running his noodle shop, Seiko learned to read. She read books. She read magazines. She read newspapers. Seiko devoured them, always hungry for more. She surrounded herself with shelves filled with books, and she opened a wondrous shop where stories ignited the imaginations of young and old. Wandering the beautiful countryside, Jerome liked to film things with his camera, no matter how silly, no matter who starred in it. Jerome had a natural flair for staging and directing. His films excited audiences, and he turned a favorite children's story into a moving masterpiece, Dragon's Lair. Searching through the streets, Robbie loved to collect things. He explored, he measured, he tinkered. Robbie spent his days building all sorts of things. He designed a giant racetrack and buildings, and then he created an extraordinary wonderland for guests to get lost in someone else's dream. Stories connect with others, whether it's words on a page, a storybook, or a picture book, or sketches on a screen. Storytellers create, entertain, and delight. They not only share their story, they also shape lives. What's your story? Thank you. So I'm going to start out by asking questions of the panelists, and at the end, if you do have questions, you can pitch in. So we're going to start with Dr. Charlotte Birkmanis, who is the co-author, the proud co-author of, and Dr. Charlotte, you're an expert in sharks.
Well, I've heard that expert means 3 correct guesses in a row, so yes.
So what led you to think that a children's book about sharks would be a good idea?
Well, in my work, I do a lot of talks and connect with a lot of people about sharks, and I get a lot of questions about sharks. Some of them are just so silly that they're not remotely true, but some of them have scarings of truth in them. So I think that there's a lot of interest, and sharks are amazing. So who can tell me how many species of sharks there are? Who thinks there's 10? Who thinks there's more than 100? Anyone think there's more than 200? What about more than 500? There is 530 species of sharks. So there are lots of stories to tell. And that's why I think this book is amazing, because it gives you information about what goes on in the ocean. And sharks are a big part of that.
Let's keep the selfies to a minimum.
I'm trying to grab the opportunity.
Okay, Josie, now.
Notes in case
You
my
got
brain.
your
I've got notes in case my brain goes.
Now, Josie, you're not a well-known shark expert.
No.
You don't swim with sharks,
No, thank you.
but you obviously are interested. So, how did you connect with sharks?
14 years ago, Charlie, myself, Rob, and another 14 people joined the SES, so the orange people. So that's how we met. And then Charlie moved away, but we stayed connected on social media. And I was always really interested in the posts that she was doing. And one day, because we're not mentioning the word A-T-T-T-A-C-K, I can't even spell it.
There's a lot of interactions between sharks and people.
There was a fight with a human and a shark underwater. So there was a lot of bad publicity, and I remember, I think you might have been on the project or something like that, and having learnt a lot of, having a lot of, to have a lot of empathy for the sharks through Charlie's social media, I sent her a message. I DM'd her.
You slid into the DM.
Slid into the DMs, and I said it's time for us to make that children's picture book. Mainly for, because my generation comes from J-A-W-S, so I can't even spell Jaws, comes from the Jaws era, where we were taught to be terrified of sharks. So I was really interested in changing that, and I'm sure that's all your thing as well, but it was really for a layman in the shark world. I really was looking at how do we introduce shark-friendly educational world for this generation, like for my grandkids, rather than have our own fears come down through them. That's it. Long answer to a...
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Did I say it all?
We're rewriting
Knock off all
the
your bullet
narrative.
points.
Yeah, exactly. Educating the upcoming generation. Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
I probably still wouldn't swim with them. I probably need some therapy before that. But
532 species, and you can probably swim with at least a couple hundred of them.
all right, okay.
The trick is knowing which ones are safe.
That's where the experts come.
Well,
Hold up the sun. Now, Carla, this is, as I said before, this is your first picture book. So, talk us through the challenges that you faced as a first children's illustrator.
Doing a picture book is not just drawing a quick picture and then sending it out in the world or sending it to someone. So it's a whole process of making sure that there's a narrative and there's consistency throughout the pages, and I like to sort of compare it to running a marathon. I've never run a marathon, so I'm just putting it out there. So my comparison might be a bit off, but it's a lot of training in the beginning, and it's a lot of endurance, and it's a lot of enjoyment along the way. You can't just wait till the finish line and then enjoy it, because it's your life. Every day is about drawing and being consistent and showing up and putting in the hours. And I really enjoyed it and thought about, what would I like to see on a page? What would I like to see Lulu doing? What would I like to, people can say running is repetitive, but I wanted to make sure, it's not repetitive. You're not just looking at the ground, you're looking around you all the time. So in the ocean, what's going on around Lulu? It's not just water and seaweed. There's animals and sea life and interesting plants, and I wanted to put that all into a book so that if every kid looks at it, or an adult, they see something new every time they look at the page and really enjoy it. And then getting to the finish line is sort of the cream, because you've done it, and it's not, just like that's the achievement, it's the journey along the way that's enjoyable. And I was really lucky to be working with these three, so that every time we had a Zoom call, there was new energy pumped into my illustrations, new ideas, new thoughts. And obviously I had the beautiful text to work with, and none of this would have happened without the text and David putting us all together.
Yeah, it's a interesting history of the book, because we started it during the middle of the COVID era, really, and so it was really a challenge to to get the people together. And I mean, it would have been a challenge anyway with Charlotte in Perth and Carla in Sydney and us up here. But I found that the Zoom channel was really very positive for us. And you know, Carla was always at the ready with her, you know, with her screenshots and whatnot. So we were able to give her feedback on the spot. And it was also amazing how quickly we took those suggestions on board and brought those suggestions into reality. And it really is an amazing book.
I think the family didn't eat. There was no food, there was no cleaning, nothing while this was happening.
There is a lot of productivity coming out.
Yeah. Spit it out.
Okay, any questions from the floor?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I think I have an answer to one of the questions that one of the readers asked. You can only swim with whale sharks because whale sharks only eat plankton. They do not eat people.
Real sharks.
Whale sharks. Whale sharks.
Oh, whale sharks. Whale sharks.
Another shark expert. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
He's in training.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yes.
Come join us.
Here's the book for the #1 bestseller on one of the pages with the dolphins.
Yeah, whose idea was that? To put that as a bestseller. Yeah, Michael was right.
And I know the dolphins before I went to,
We've got a bit of Where's Wally
Yes,
element
We
too.
do.
Yeah.
Where is Wally? I read that before.
Does anyone know what a remora is? Or a suckerfish? Sucks on or sticks onto sharks, and sometimes they get confused and even stick onto submarines. But they're also called shark suckers. And Remy is in the book on every page.
You have to find Remy.
You have to find Remy.
Because Remy is Lulu's soft toy, well, her real
Teddy?
toy, her teddy, like her teddy bear that she takes to bed, her best friend. And so, yeah, you have to find Remy because Remy's a bit shy at times.
Hiding.
Remy is our autistic character that doesn't like a lot of the noise and likes to hide the crowds, etc. So yeah, we have a diverse marine underwater world.
And we won't tell you which is which or who is where, but all of us are in the book as well at some point. So you have to let us know on social media or email us.
Can you guess?
No, we won't tell them.
Okay.
We'll let them know
Well,
tell us.
even Rob's in it.
I usually the tappers.
Yes.
And James is on it.
I got Robert the tap.
We're all in there.
Well, I'm the head.
Oh,
Oh, you get that one.
Oh,
we combine.
I'll let you guess where we are.
Carla, with all your drawing and having Charlotte on the team there, that you had to be very careful that all your creatures were accurate and
tell me about the
So
stingray.
there was a few simple ones that I definitely, that Charlotte picked up, which were obviously I should have picked up. My octopus did not have 8 legs, so that was a problem.
I just thought, audience members would pick that up.
And then, yes, for the stingrays, I was looking around going, what's an interesting stingray to draw, but I actually drew an eagle ray. And I realized, well, obviously Charlotte pointed out with making sure that I was accurate, it's not actually a stingray. So I had to edit that. But it all worked well because, we were in constant communication and I was constantly showing everyone what I was drawing and getting feedback. So it was really easy to change and incorporate what they had to say and what Charlie had to say and making sure the book is accurate. That's why I say accurate because the animals are wearing t-shirts and hats. Dresses.